I'm sorry, guys. I just gotta show you this. I know it's being a little mean, but I think you're going to enjoy this. So this is on my listing of hey, I'm looking to buy Pokemon cards. This dude immediately just pops off and sends me without anything else to the conversation. He just goes, "I'll sell it to you for $300," and he sends me a picture of a PSA 10 Umbreon shiny. Now, granted, it's Japanese. Keep that in mind. He was probably hoping I'd miss that detail. I go, "Oh wow, what a deal! Only 100 more than the going price on eBay," which is true. Here it is. This isn't a bid. This is a buy it now. Japanese PSA 10. $200 and $10 for shipping. This person may be asking 380 and it says last one, but they're manipulating the market. They purposely do this. They do a certain amount, but they only actually then they list that they've only sold however many, and then it makes it look like it's actually selling for that price. But here's one. It's not even a guaranteed sell yet. He's asking 200. If this was true, this would have been gone already. That's a $180 difference. People will be buying that up so quickly, and it has 34 watchers, which means this is being heavily watched. And these are the exact same card. So let's see what he just replied with. He just replied with something. He said, "Yeah, you're right. Surprised you know how to read." Wow, that's just fantastic. So I may have been rude, but he's just straight up admitting this dude was just trying to straight scam me. Um, yeah, I don't know. Don't be this guy. Uh, this happens. Whatever. Hey, so I'm also adding this is the one on the right who tried to just who's trying to sell me a PSA 10 Japanese Umbreon for basically I think like $100 or more overpriced. So this is another guy. This guy, I don't think he's a scammer. He may just be someone who didn't know. Um, his first part was kind of honest, in my opinion. But when people start doing this, and when they start getting into pretty good details, and just I say, hey, yes, I'm interested. And he's like, oh, hey, I took some pics. I'll send him. I'll send you them your way. Um, and I said, okay. And he sends me this. Um, when you see them, you'll see what I mean. So he was pretty specific about like the years and stuff, which means he has some information. He knows what he's talking about. And then he sends me them, and they look like that. They're pretty much all like that. So I'll go ahead and close that up. So when he sends me that, I didn't insult him, but it raises some questions. To me, it seems like, I get this every now and then. I think people think maybe I'm an idiot or I'm a kid who doesn't know the actual value. And so I just reply, sorry, these are all a little too beat up for me. Do you have any in better condition? Yeah, 100%. Those were just the big names, you could say. No, not really. I granted they are Wizards of the Coast era. I just wouldn't say these are big name Pokemon. These two out of all of them, and Zapdos and Nidoking and Moltres if they were in better condition. And then I'm just like, okay, when you can please send me pictures of their cards in decent condition, please. He didn't reply, and that was a while ago. Hopefully he does have something decent. Hopefully he wasn't just hoping that I was like an idiot and I didn't know my prices, just like this guy over here. This one was super obvious. This guy could be a genuine person. And if he is, that's cool. I'm not really making fun of him. I'm not making fun of anyone's collection. Once again, I may have a huge amount of cards, but I'm not a collector. I'm just a person who is basically a middleman on buying and selling. I try and give people, a proper deal when possible. This next one to the left of me that I'm going to show you is, I get this every now and then. I don't know what the point is of this, so let me show you. Let me just move over. I was going to edit this in, but I'll just go ahead and go with this. So, person's name, Joey King. Are you looking for any specific cards? I get asked that pretty much every time. For me, it's a red flag. Not because they're a scammer or anything, but in terms of how this conversation is going to go, that is a red flag, because I'm a bulk buyer. I'm buying, at low prices. That's the whole point of what I do. I buy low and I sell for a little bit more. Um, I know everyone wants to make money. I'm also one of the people within this who wants to make money. They want to make money for their cards. I want to make money off their cards. It's a risk to my transaction, so that's why I take however much. Most of these people, a lot of people I deal with, where I get my deals, it's people who don't buy and sell. It's people who just had cards sitting in their closet. I don't know about this person. Clearly, they have done some research, and I'll show you why. So, are you looking for any specific cards? I go, mainly Wizards of the Coast, but I look at all. And this is true. I really do mainly want Wizards of the Coast cards because there's a big profit margin if I can buy them low. It's not a big profit margin if they ask for eBay prices or if they ask for mint prices for unmint cards. Or my favorite one is when people ask for PSA 10 prices for non-PSA graded cards. Don't do that. You're just gonna look like a fucking idiot. Don't ask for a PSA price for a non-PSA card. And by that, I mean don't ask, like, don't say, oh, it's a possible PSA 10 and it goes for $1,000 as a PSA 10, so I'll sell it to you for $1,000. No, man, like, there's a whole point behind that. There's a service, a fee, a wait time. Like, the people who have gotten their cards PSA graded, those people deserve those PSA prices. Stop trying to undermine that system. And people who buy into it, please don't buy into their non-PSA graded cards at PSA prices. You're hurting yourself and you're hurting the rest of us. Don't do that. If someone wants a PSA price, tell them I'll give you the PSA price when it comes back with that PSA grade. You may lose the opportunity, but if we do it together as a community, it's going to force them to do the right thing. So yeah, and don't worry about missing out on the opportunity. They probably won't ever sell it until they get it PSA graded. And this was an interesting one. I get this every now and then. How much are you trying to spend? I have a bunch of cards and a lot from the 90s. Also have this not graded, unfortunately, though. So this next part was a red flag right here. Because I'll show you why in a second. This one wasn't too much of a red flag. This question isn't asked super often. It's kind of a weird question to ask. Like, if we're already engaged in conversation, and really it only takes a couple of seconds to send a video of your binder, or literally if you want to do pictures, a couple minutes. Usually the way I like people to send me a video, and then I see if it was filled with what I'm sort of looking for. And then I, of course, as I said, I asked for some specific pictures of individual cards from the binders, not every last card, because I base my price based on a couple of the high dollar cards, because once again, I'm a bulk buyer. So, and I tell people, some people get really, really mad and they're asking for me to insult their face. But if they say, oh, that's too low, I go, that's fine. If they say, like, oh, I can get that for, selling them individually, however much more individually, I say, that's fine. Go ahead and take the time and sell them individually. But when you get tired of that, if you want a quick buyout, that's what I am. I'll tell them, like, I don't think I'm the guy you're looking for. I'm a guy who buys all at once at a lower price. I'm a bulk buyer. I tell them that hey, you could possibly get more, but you have to do the eBay sales. You have to list each one individually and sell one out each individually. And people are willing to do that. I'm one of them. I'm patient. That's what I generally do. I sell the cards individually. And the reason why it was a red flag is because also have this not graded, unfortunately, though. And they sent a first edition Shadowless Charizard. Immediately, I'm a little excited, of course, always. Opportunity to try and get one at a pretty decent price and in person. The in-person part for this is really important because you don't want to get scammed, and it really lets you see the minor details of it. I'm willing to pay several grand for a first edition Shadowless Charizard, depending on its condition, and we'll go from there. But the other part that was a red flag, and I don't know why they would take this specific stock photo, because this part also have this not graded, unfortunately, though. Well, if you click on the photo, that is a graded case, and they purposely cut it off right before the grade. I don't think it's a stock photo for that specific purpose. A stock photo of a graded card would have the the stock photo would have kept, they would have kept the grade in it. And so this was all at once, and of course I reply with, I have a pretty good budget. Well, I was being funny, yes. I have a pretty good budget. Just send me what you have and a price for all. That was an hour ago. If this person, and generally if they do have this, and they know they can make a lot of money off it, especially since he even said, also have this not graded. Unfortunately, that means they've been looking at prices, and when they start mentioning graded cards, that means they know some stuff about the market. So I think this person was either trying to see if I was going to nerd out, waste my time, or see if I was going to make an insane offer, or just trying to test the waters and see if I am a big buyer or seller, because some people are trying to push out the other bulk buyers. It's all a competition, so they're trying to seek out who is a bulk buyer and hunt them down. So I just put, I have a pretty good budget, just send me what you have and a price for all. I always say this, price for all, what you have for a price for all, because I'm a binder buyer. Of course, and I try to beat them to it. Usually people will send me pictures and say, make me an offer. Usually, if they don't end it with that last part, I beat them to make me an offer part, and I send, what is your price for all? Generally, a lot of retort is, even after I say, what is your price for all, like 90% of the time I get, make an offer. I'm really surprised this person hasn't sent anything else yet. They should be home from work around this time frame, depending on what their job is. If they do have a first edition Shadowless Charizard, and it is that one, which wouldn't make sense, they said not graded. But even if they have one, and it's still just in like decent conditioning, even if there is whiting around it, I will probably still buy it. The market right now for first edition Shadowless Charizard is nuts. But with what he's saying, when people start using terms like, oh, I wish it was graded, or what's your budget, they're looking to make the absolute max dollar without paying eBay fees. You have to take into account that people who are really, really, really into this and who are good at buying and selling, and I'd say I'm pretty decent, are going to use that as a way to negotiate a lower price. So eBay is generally a 10%. There's ways to cap that by having like eBay shops and stuff, but I'm going to use that as a negotiation process if we go further with this. I really hope this person continues to reply. I'm not saying they're a scammer, it's just there's some red flags up, not because of a scam. Granted, when you start flashing me a first edition Shadowless Charizard, that's a pretty high scam card for a lot of reasons. There's a huge demand for it, so there's a lot of scam around it. There's money to be made off of it, and yeah, that's what's going to happen. So be aware of that. Don't freak out and rush to buy. The scam is so big that they're not even going to do the things to where, oh, yeah, I know the car's worth 40 grand, but I'll sell it to you for $1,000. No, they know that there's such a high demand that they're still going to ask 40 grand for the fake card. There's even ways of faking PSA cards. And so it's getting nuts, but there's a lot of money to be made for scammers. So what do you do if that does happen? Definitely meet in person, and get the PSA app and scan the barcode on the back. And if it doesn't stand, still give them a second chance and manually input the numbers into the PSA app. If it doesn't show up in the PSA system, and it was, it's a PSA card, it's not going to work if it's a BGS card, you have to use the BGS app. But if it doesn't show up in the system under the scan or number that they have assigned to it for PSA, it's not a real PSA card. That's why people like buying PSA cards, because it goes through authentication and it has an assigned number and serial number, and it has a lot of value, and it's protected, and it has a graded thing for it. So I am interested, really hoping this person does reply. I tend to not bug people too much. If a day goes by, I might send them the thumbs up app thing and see what happens. This person definitely has my interest. As you can see, I've talked about this person out of all three combos the most. Um, Hopefully this goes through. I would love to show a first edition Shadowless Charizard on my channel. I'd love to be able to buy and sell one. There's money to be made there. It's definitely a high budget item. I actually lowered, not because of this, I actually did it actually about 5 hours before this combo. I just lowered the price on my PSA 8 Shadowless Charizard on my eBay. Um, it's still pretty pricey, but I lowered it. There's been, there's been, excuse me, there's been confirmed sales on eBay at above 10 grand for that card. Um, I still have one listed at buy it now for basically a little bit over 10 grand, and I relisted it also as a bid for 8. Granted, I know that can bite me in the butt depending on um, if someone does the buy it now and someone does a bid, but we'll figure it out when it gets there. But that would probably be money I would use to getting this. I'm certain the question is going to be, or people are thinking, okay, well, what should we pay if we come across a card like this, especially for trying to make money? I'm not going to use a number because I don't know currently their current market. I know it's super high, but the market has changed each and every day. My percentage on this is a huge high dollar risk. If I can get it for 50% what I think it would be at a certain PSA, I would. But that could still mean I'm dropping 20 grand on a card, so that's a little risky. If I could, I would try and get it at essentially 70% or less, the graded assumption. Why so low? Obviously her maximum profit, but the risk involved with the dollar amount, it's so high. That's such a high dollar amount risk. Because let's say we buy the card. Let's say I pay 10 grand. And I have a general understanding of what is going to get what at PSA. But this is more for you guys if you somehow have this opportunity and have the cash for it and haven't learned yet. If you pay 10 grand for this card and then you get it PSA rated, and because of the value of the card, you're going to have to go with a high service. You're talking like $500 to $1,000 for the PSA service involved. So there's that cost. The cost of insurance for shipping it in. So I would definitely insure this card while I ship it into the PSA. And then it comes back way lower than you expected, which hopefully you have an understanding of the PSA grades and that doesn't happen. But it does. You just lost a ton of money, and then you have to wait to sell it too, and that would be so disappointing. And then same thing on this person's part. If they know it's worth a lot PSA graded, they should get it PSA graded. There's money to be made there. If they don't want to, that's on them. I'm certain, and if this person is for real, and it kind of seems like they are, they seem to know what they're talking about. I see this conversation going into that category to where this person asks for the PSA price, but doesn't have it graded, which still is huge red flags because the picture they sent is 100% a graded card. That case is specifically to graded cards like I think the one company is called CGCC, BGS, PSA, Mint Grading Company. That's a specific Sonic sealed case. So yeah, hopefully more comes out of this, and I'll post more when more does. Thanks. Bye.